Look who's out here re-upping their sub like some kind of hero. Hello! How is it going? My name is Endeavorance. It is Thursday, July 25th. July 25th. The first time I said it with primarily just kind of hoping that I was right, and then I checked. And it's important to remember that I would prefer to lie to you than look like I don't know what I'm saying, which is a really excellent quality that I have. It's far more important for me to appear correct than to actually be correct. And I think that's a very positive trait. How's it going, everybody? Hello, Clay. Everybody say hi to Clay and be sure to follow them and it's good times. And thank you for being here. I hope you are doing wonderful. I'm going to catch up on the feed and the chat and all the good stuff. And then we've got things to talk about. And it's just, there's a lot. And y'all, if I were an emoji right now, I would be cat bouncing. So here we go. Okay, so Coffee Mom was first to chat. And now I will note that the ball is apparently still on vacation. I don't know where it went, but the ball has been the ball's been going through it recently. And is still on vacation, presumably still being thrown through the air from last stream. Unclear. I don't know why it continues to break, but I'll look into fixing it. Water Goddess redeemed Hydrate, which is perfect for my first sip of tea. Today I am drinking the Astral Bloom tea from Many Worlds Tavern. I will maybe pull up the page and share that with y'all so you can see the goodness for yourself, because it's genuinely really good. Name subbed at 5 months with a 56 roll, just above average, little above average. That's good. That's good. That's good. Okay, let's see. Hello, Coffee Mom. Hello, Mo. Hello, Tomato. Hello, Water Goddess. Hello, Shard. I don't know if y'all can hear that. Flynn decided to start hacking up along, like in the middle of me saying hello to everybody. He was like, now is a great time to just start going. Hello, King of Camelot. Says, finally caught you live. You did. You caught me. I've been caught. Hello, Robin. Hello, Clay, of course. Hello, Austin. Hello, Name. Hello, Inky. Hello, Fanakari. Hello, Selenium Sulfide. Says, hope you have fun in Indy. Some fun places Tappers, 43 Degrees, St. Elmo's, Country Kitchen, and Kuma's Corner. I'm going to immediately save those recommendations. Recommended indie things. Okay. I have put that in a note. Thank you. Hello, River. Hello. Hello, River of Piss. I'm assuming you're going to change back at some point. Hello, Falcor. Hello, Darsparks. How is it going? Everybody, what's up? Wait, did I miss Trips? Did I just like... I see someone saying hello to Trips. Ah, there it is. Hello, Trips. I'm sorry I missed you. I'm so sorry. Where was your first message? So like I don't have, I changed, I removed a thing and now I don't currently have my, I used to have a view that told me everybody who's currently chatting so I could just read that, but instead I'm scrolling through the list and looking for everybody's first message. Where was your first message? How did I miss you? I'm so thrown right now. It's ramen time. Oh, yep, it's right there. It's literally right there. I think maybe it's because your name is white. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I missed it. Also, hello, you are here now. Or, well, you were always here, but now I'm aware that you're here, and I'm thrilled that you're here. So hello, Trips. Always wonderful to have you around. Banakri says, I want to say that I'm happy you have only pronounced my username. I'm happy to say that, sorry. I want to say, I'm happy you have only pronounced my username properly. I have gotten so many weird nicknames. What did they say otherwise? Your name is one of the most pronounceable names. Like, I'm not trying to, this is not, legitimately, when I look at your name, Fanakari, that is one of the most phonetically easy usernames that I have seen. Like, okay, Causine, yeah, so for example, is it Causine? Like, I've never actually known how that's pronounced. Is it Causine? K-O sign? See? Like, I don't know, but Fanakari, like, there's nothing confusing. There's no ambiguous, what's the term for, like, a part of a pronunciation guide? Syllable? No. What's the term for, like, the individual sounds that you make to combine into a word? Phoneme, I think. That sounds right. Let's go with that. Thank you, selenium sulfide. So how is it pronounced? K-O-scene? K-O-scene. K-O-scene. Got it. So the K-A-O is pronounced K-O. Like, hey yo, but K-O. There's like a, yeah, okay. Got it. I think I got it. I think I have it. Okay, we've made a lot of progress here today. We've done a lot. We've really come far here today. I think that's enough for this stream. I think we've learned a lot together, and now we can all just kind of go back to what we were doing before. Goodbye. Are they gone yet? Am I safe to come back out? All right, great, excellent. I think I got it confused myself, says Causine. Sorry, says KO scene. Jesus, see, I'm still gonna fuck it up. It's not gonna be great. Dice, hello, says Dev, are you getting excited for GenCon? I am. I'm getting excited for GenCon. This is a real story. Hello, Stevie. What's up? Welcome in. This is a real story about my therapy session from yesterday. The first thing that happened in my therapy session yesterday was I learned the origin. We're gonna play a little game. I want to see who can guess it. I learned the origin of the term "just under the wire." Neither me nor my therapist knew the origin. We had to look it up. What do you think, without looking it up, where do you think "just under the wire" comes from? To mean like just barely making it. Isn't it it is not a military thing. Selenium sulfide, correct again. Horse racing. Horse racing. Horse racing, yes. Apparently, in horse racing, they originally had a wire that spanned the finish line to determine which horse finished first. And eventually, like, just under the wire. I don't know why under was a thing, but that's a thing. Selenium sulfide, you do indeed get head pats. My first thought was the game Limbo, not the video game, like the party game Limbo, where you're trying to like go under a thing and you're just barely making your way under there. But then I realized that's like a stick and not a wire. And so the next thing I thought was like a tripwire, like a trap, and you just barely went under the wire or something like that. But nope, horse racing. Anyway, the second thing that happened in my therapy session was I tried to explain to my therapist that I was about to go to GenCon, and I said, in 2 weeks. And then I realized that's not true. And then I was like, oh, in a little over a week. And then I realized that's also not true because I'm going in 1 week from yesterday. And it was a rude awakening for just how messed up my sense of time is. But it was a beautiful explainer. Like, I was like, oh yeah, like I'm getting ready for this thing. It's in 2 weeks. No, it's in a little over a week. No, it's in a week. Oh shit. Dice says, I'm still disappointed to be missing the con. I understand. I actually know quite a few people who are missing the con and a few people who are not going after the stuff with the Crit Awards happened. So there's actually quite a few people who are not going to be there. I understand and I empathize with the FOMO. Clay says, mask up, etc., and stay safe, Dev, and anyone else doing anything ever. Yeah, I do intend to wear. I was gonna post a TikTok about this. I'm gonna be masking if I'm on the con floor, so, or if I'm like, you know, in any kind of like densely populated area. So I was gonna post a thing being like, hey everyone, just so you know, like I'm gonna be wearing a mask, blah 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 blah. So if you're trying to look for me, I'm gonna like, here's me with a mask so you know what to look for. And so I was gonna like put a mask on and maybe put the backpack that I'm gonna have on and just be like, here's a 360 degree view, scan this with your brain. If you see me from any angle, come say hi. Cause yeah, like my weird brain was like, but if I wear a mask, no one will notice me or no one will be able to tell who I am. And then I was like, but if I wear a mask, my risk of being reinfected with COVID would be much significantly lower. And so I'm wearing a mask because obviously. So yeah. Can you paint a red beard on the mask? I can also like write Endeavorance maybe on the mask itself. Yeah, I tend to, I don't know. I got COVID. I went to PAX Unplugged and PAX East and did not get COVID from either. Everyone else that I knew, including people that I was around without a mask, got COVID, and I did not get COVID from either con. And then I went to the doctor's office once in like January and got COVID. It's just very obnoxious. But I am not interested in doing that again. That is not that's not a thing I want to do. So going to try real hard to make sure that's not going to happen. Time blindness and I are besties, says Stevie. It is so real. Time blindness, says Clay. It's so real. Like, I truly have such a horrific sense of time. And if I feel so bad, this happens so frequently, where someone will ask me the simplest thing. Hey, do you want to do X, Y, and Z on this date? And I'm like, I will look at them like a deer in headlights. Like, what are you talking about? What is a date? Like, what is a schedule? Are you talking about a day that is multiple weeks from now? How am I have nowhere near enough information to answer the question of, do you want to do this thing on this date? That is beyond answer. That is impossible. You've presented me with like that math question that like every mathematician has been trying to solve forever, but like no one can, and it's considered unsolvable. Like, now I'm just gonna sit here and stare at you like you just spoken some kind of like demonic language at me. Time is an illusion. Panakri says, time is always marching forward no matter where you are. It's pretty fucked up that it doesn't stop doing that. The years start coming and they truly don't stop coming. Taliesin says, time blindness, my beloved. Former Future Frog says, hey yo, popping in for a little bit before some work stuffs. Glad that you could make it. Glad you could make it. Solium Soulside says, I live in Indy and haven't been to Gen Con in 3 years. A buddy and I will hang out and watch people though. Nice. I will probably not be at the con, like on the con floor very often. Maybe once or twice. I don't remember where I have said this already. Maybe I said this on my patrons video that I posted this morning. I think I did. I am not going to be on the con floor much, maybe once or twice. So if you're not familiar with what happened with Gen Con and the Crit Awards, the very, very quick summary is the Crit Awards, which is a creator award show, like a community awards kind of thing, was going to be an event at Gen Con. It is run by the tabletop community for the tabletop community to give awards to excellence in the tabletop community. And the organizers of the event came out saying, we don't support Zionism. We won't have Zion, like a nominee turned out to be a Zionist and they had their nomination revoked. And that was fine because the entire TTRPG community that is involved in this award show was like, yes, endorse, we agree, that should be the case. But then like a right-wing group got involved and started a hate brigade and started a harassment campaign. They were emailing Gen Con, they were emailing the Crit Awards people, they were like harassing the nominees of the Crit Awards. And Gen Con got all upset and was like, hey, Crit Awards, you need to leave. Like, you need to go away. This is too much heat and we don't want it. So they basically pushed out the Crit Awards. A bunch of creators, including myself, pulled out of a whole bunch of panels. I was really, really, really excited to be on the do's and don'ts of DMing panel at Gen Con. And like, that would have been amazing. I would have loved to talk about that to a whole room of people. It would have been great. But I made the incredibly difficult decision to pull out because I like couldn't do that. I don't know. Like I just couldn't see myself doing that and feeling good with like using my presence as a direct support to Gen Con after what they did to these people that I care about. So I pulled out of that. A lot of other creators pulled out of a lot of their panels. And so a lot of creators are kind of just going to be in Indy and not really be at Gen Con. And we'll see if I end up going next year. I'm not entirely sure yet. Coffee Mom redeemed Hydrate a while ago. My bad. GMing. Yeah, GMing. I think it's actually called the do's and don'ts of GMing. Trip says, ordering custom cover masks to go over the medical one with merch logos. That's really smart. I wonder if I can still order masks. That's kind of annoying how like with all the people pretending and just kind of like cosplaying as if the pandemic is over, the fact that like masks are not as easily obtainable. They are, right? Like they are absolutely easily obtainable. But there was a period of time where it was like masks as a fashion accessory were everywhere. And it was actually kind of rad. Like they're a pretty sick accessory. Never mind the like additional privacy and preventing your identity from being like, you know, noted at protest or from like security cameras. That's what they're called. You know what this means, right? Everybody knows this means security camera. Name says, please don't cut your life length short by getting COVID. The effects are horrible, especially multipolar. I'm assuming that means like when you have it multiple times. Panakri says maybe you're asymptomatic. I'm pretty sure I was not. I'm like every experience that I have had with all of my boosters for COVID and also having had COVID, it kicked my ass. I don't think that I'm the kind of person that can be asymptomatic with COVID. I've always been that way with sickness. I either am fine or down for the count. There's very little in between for me. And it's really unfortunate because when I'm down for the count, I am down hard. Robin says, yeah, I got COVID from a medical facility. Oofa doofa. Clay says, I used to do cons all the time, but haven't done since December 2019. It sucks, but I'm too nervous about long COVID. And rightfully so. Like, I think that there is there exist reasonable ways to be reasonably safe within certain conditions. If you are not, I don't know your situation, and this is not a blanket statement, but if you do not have, what's it called? Not pre-existing conditions, but, you know, an immunocompromisation. If you do not have an immunocompromisation and you are vaccinated and you wear a mask and you are thoughtful about how long you are spending in comorbidity, how long you are spending in tightly packed groups and public spaces that are indoors, especially. If you keep tabs on that, if you manage that, like, you can be reasonably safe. Like, more or less as reasonably safe as going about a normal daily schedule in your life. So it's just a matter of, like, not treating it as if, like, COVID's also on vacation. You know, like, it's a matter of not being like, well, I'm just gonna deal with it and expect that I'm gonna be fine. It's just not worth it. Catching up on chat here. I know I'm a little bit behind. Mo says, I am back with sweet potato fries. That's huge. That's huge. I'm really, really excited for you. Thank you for doing that. Robin says, guys, do red pepper flakes expire? I'm pretty sure no. But moreover, if your red pepper flakes are languishing long enough that you're questioning if they have expired, what are you doing? Eat more red pepper flakes. Just take a spoonful. Just chomp them down. When I get pizza, I reach for the red pepper flakes, right? And I just kind of unscrew the cap, and I just pour that shit directly into my eyes. And then I eat my pizza. I'm a very healthy person. Water Goddess says, BRB guys, sending my man off to work. Kick him in the butt. Make him go. Chaosine says, GMing class? Please. I might. That could be fun. That could be fun. Name says, I finally found Flynn photo that I can use for my drawing. Oh shit? Wait, which photo? Wait, which Flynn photo? Oh my goodness. Austin says, that dumb coffee shop that made people smile. Wait, what? Wait, am I missing I might be missing context. Mo says, thank you for talking so openly about masking. I will hydrate. Is it a, like, taboo thing to talk openly about masking? I don't... Like, it... I don't love wearing masks, right? It's not a thing I want to do. If I don't need to wear a mask, and my definition of need is a pretty broad definition. That's not a strict definition. If I don't need to be wearing a mask, I will probably not err on the side of caution. That means, like, if I'm with my family, or like if I'm, like, you know, with a close group of people that, like, I can generally trust that they're being responsible as well. Yeah. Primarily because I'm vaccinated and I'm careful about not sitting and being face to face with somebody who's wheezing a little bit too much. But, like, yeah. But if I'm going to be intentionally going to a place where a bunch of people have traveled from a bunch of different places and no one has any form of accountability, and we're all gonna be crammed into an indoor space where people are running around, touching everything, breathing on each other, sharing hugs, standing together to take pictures and whatnot. Like, oh yeah, that is, yes. Even if they're like, I don't want to be sick. Dice says, I have long COVID now and I'm immunocompromised, so true story. I don't spend much time around people. That sucks. Long COVID's not good. It's not great. It's not wonderful. We don't love it. Can we get some hate in chat for long COVID? My brother has long COVID and has had a lot of like really, really strange problems. Honestly, it almost seems like whenever he has an issue, he goes to the doctor and they're like, it's probably long COVID. Clay says, I unfortunately have a lot of medical conditions that are already giving me grief and I am essentially disabled, so I just don't like to roll those dice, sadly. It's not good dice. It's not dice that we want no, it's not good dice. And it's very, very annoying that like Joe Biden was like, yeah, the pandemic is over and then fucking caught COVID. Like, come on, guy. Come on. Like, don't be like that. The notion that we're over the pandemic is like truly absurd. Coffee Mom says some states are banning masking. Yeah, it's just like, what's the dumbest thing we can do? Let's do that. Him laying on the couch because I need a side profile. Oh yeah, I've got plenty of pictures of Flynn lazing on the couch. Clay says, I don't want to see more folks struggling with disability earlier in life than they need to if possible. We can't outrun disability as almost everyone will experience it with age. That is true. And my goodness, I am not particularly old. I'm only like 700 or 800 years old. Give or take a few millennia. But yesterday I was doing me a workout, right? I was pumping iron, right? And the particular iron that I was pumping was lunges at the time. And every single lunge that I did, I heard both of my knees. Like audibly could hear them on the way down and the way up. At first, I thought it was the sound of like the carpet that I was standing on. I thought that it was like creaking. I thought the floor was creaking. It wasn't the floor that was creaking. The floor was concrete. My knees were the ones that were creaking. Tomato says, yeah, I'm shocked I didn't get COVID from PAX Unplugged. I am too, honestly. Everyone that I knew got COVID from PAX Unplugged. Granted, a lot of the people that I knew that got COVID at PAX Unplugged were much more all over each other than I was, so. Stevie says, I wish I could just physically fight the disability. Clay says, I definitely think there's some fear of pushback or potential aggression when talking about masking, after it became so politicized in the US especially. It is bonkers to me how dumb that was. Like, all they had to do was not throw a shit fit about masking. Like, it's just such not big of a deal. And I don't know. Politicizing the use of a medical device is absurd. The fact that it happened and the fact that it was so stark is just wild. Trip says he didn't catch it. He just decided. He didn't just catch it. He just decided this month. He just decided to this month go third time's the charm. Yeah. He caught that. Wasn't his first COVID. Yeah, dude, a 81-year-old dude catching COVID for a third time. Like, that's not good. That's not good. Spinner says, me in my early 40s deciding to start going to the gym. Do it though. Like, if you are able to exercise in any capacity, literally anything, like, I don't know enough about like every disability to know what conditions would lead to like exercise is a bad idea. And when I say exercise, I don't mean like lifting heavy weight and like bench pressing and going for like miles of runs and running marathons. literally just going for like a walk, or if you're in like a wheelchair, just making sure that you're just like getting movement of any kind, really. Getting movement versus being sedentary does so much for so many parts of your life. And it's not going to be capable for everybody, but if you are able to, it really, really helps with sleep, with anxiety, with depression, with just generally feeling okay. And it's not even about like losing weight or reaching a specific body shape, because that is a losing battle. Like if you are exercising to try to have a certain body shape, that's not a good motivation. Like you're going to struggle to continue, because you're not going to get those results. It's not going to go the way you think it's going to go. It's going to take a different amount of time than you thought. But if you're exercising with the purpose of doing something good for yourself, that I have found to be pretty dang huge. I just try to make sure that I get a little bit of like elevated heart rate each day, at least. But he says, even a lot more of my left-leaning friends and family are just tired and fed up and will mask in public places, but mix households and don't mask around each other, and don't consider that like their kids can get sick at school, they can get it at the gym, birthday parties, and all kinds of places. It really is unique to each situation. For example, I basically don't go anywhere or see anyone or do anything. So like I am virtually never in a situation where like I do need to mask, unless I'm going out and like gonna be going to the grocery store or whatever. But like I have a nephew, a young nephew, who for a while he couldn't get the vaccine because he was too young and they hadn't cleared it for his age at that time. And you know, he goes to daycare. If the daycare has like one kid whose family has COVID somewhere, like suddenly it's a 5-alarm fire, because these kids are not vaccinated and we don't know what's going to happen if they get COVID, and then we don't know what's going to happen if they then start to transmit it to other people. It's hard to get a handle on everything. Hello, Jordally Poo Poo says, hi, I made it. Happy Thursday tea time, everyone. Hello, and Itchy, hello. Coffee Mom says, we do things all the time for public safety. I don't understand why masking is the hill to literally die on. It is literally just a bunch of old boomers were mad that they had to wear a mask and stay home for a couple of weeks. If we had, I know this is, okay. I'm a big proponent of the notion that like no plan that starts with if everyone could just blank. Like that is never the start to a good plan, right? Because you will never get everyone to just blank. But if everyone just stayed home for 2 weeks, unless you were absolutely critical, you were like EMS or whatever, it would have just gone away. That's all that had to happen. But instead, millions upon millions upon millions of people are dead because people didn't want to mask or stay home. Everyone's talking about like wanting to burn down the country and start a revolution. You wouldn't stay home for a couple of weeks. What? You're not gonna die for your beliefs. You couldn't handle sitting on the couch and watching fucking Tiger King. Tallison says, my single problem with masking is that I get confused about whether I'm in a discussion about autism plus masking bad or COVID plus masking good on a regular basis. That's a very good point. That's an extremely good point. Masks are dangerous because if we have two different types of masks in our discussions, it might get confusing, and we cannot have that. I thoroughly agree with you. This is why we need to stop masking. Clay says, I'm pretty sure I'm agoraphobic at this point, and I definitely represent an extreme fear of spending time with people in person. But the anxiety I feel when I leave my home is real. I'm tired of having a panic attack walking into Target. I understand, and I know I have a couple of other mutuals who are also immunocompromised and have significant phobias, like are working with professionals to do essentially immersion therapy to try to just make it so they can step out their front door because they're horrified. So I certainly empathize. Trip says, even for those who are mobile impaired like me, can do some movements and yoga while seated. Yeah, totally. It is not a requirement that you are a full, like, 100% able-bodied person. Like, you do not need to already be in good physical condition to exercise. Because it really comes down to just, like, doing something with your body that your body was more or less built to do. Right? We exercise to emulate the things that our bodies were evolved to be good at. And when you do those things, your body is like, yay, we're doing the things. So, like, what we didn't evolve to do is sit and look at spreadsheets all day, right? What we did evolve to do was, like, be persistence hunters and gatherers and hauling water and all sorts of things. So, like, we definitely do not need to be doing that, but we can, as Trip said, like, do some yoga, like, stretch the muscles and musculature that, like, this incredibly complex machine that we are, that we're subjecting ourselves to just doing weird shit that it wasn't meant to do, and kind of pushing back against that a little bit each day and just having some kind of normal, more natural use of your body is going to do a lot. Tomato says, I'm working up from once per week. It's been almost 2 months and I haven't skipped a day yet. Really just trying to get some sort of activity since I sit on my butt in front of a computer all day. It has made a huge difference. 100%. Same. I obviously sit in front of a computer quite a bit. And I had a gym membership for a little bit, and I was using that to try to, like, give me a place to go to so that I would have to, like, go there and do my workout, right? I liked my gym. I didn't like that I knew exactly what I wanted to do. And sometimes I would go there and the things that I wanted to do were, like, in use by somebody else and they were taking forever and so on and so forth. So I ended up canceling my gym membership. I just got myself a couple of adjustable dumbbells and a workout bench, which wasn't super cheap, but it also was about the same price as, like, a few months of my gym subscription. So, like, I canceled my gym subscription. Now I have that. And I just try to make sure that a couple times a week I do some kind of workout. And it's still doing nice. Banakari says, your view and take on exercise is so refreshing, so healthy. Well, thank you. I'm glad. Former Future Frog says, Dev, you should try rock climbing. I have tried rock climbing. I'm a very big fan of rock climbing, specifically bouldering. I've done top rope, like, you know, like where you're strapped in on a harness and you're climbing the big, tall walls. Not as big of a fan. I probably have a fear of heights that I don't acknowledge. Maybe. But, like, yeah, I found myself getting about, like, 3/4 of the way up the wall and then being like, I don't trust this. But bouldering, which is which is understandably, like, mathematically more dangerous than doing a climb where you're strapped in on a harness and whatnot. Like, I know personally, my next door neighbor broke her spine bouldering and was in a back brace and nearly was paralyzed. Horrific injury. And yet, I'm way more comfortable with bouldering than top rope. Deaf Amanda has followed. Welcome in. Thank you so much. Good to have you. This guy says, back to the COVID talk. My wife got it 3 times, and the third time she had it, third time she had to be hospitalized for a week because it turned into pneumonia. I have had pneumonia twice. And the first time, I probably almost died because I didn't realize I had pneumonia. I just thought that I was, like, sick and short of breath, and it got really, really bad. It was actually, like, during, I think, Christmas. Yeah, it was Christmas. Overnight on Christmas, like Christmas Eve into Christmas, I was staying at my parents' house. Like we were having like a family get together for Christmas, and I was staying over at their house the night before. I wake up in the middle of the night. I gotta go pee in a toilet. And so I head to the bathroom, and I'm sitting there going to pee. This is why you're here on my stream. You love hearing about the specifics of what I'm doing in the bathroom. And so I'm going to go do that. And right as as it's going, right, you know, I'm midstream, I start to get really, really dizzy, really short of breath. Thankfully, I'm able to like stabilize myself until I could conclude my business. And then I passed out, pants down on the floor of the bathroom. Then I went to the like urgent care that morning, and they took an x-ray of my chest, and they're like, holy God, you have a lot of fluid in your lungs, my guy. And I was like, oh, that's not good. And so they got me started on antibiotics and started to get better. But my God, I thought I was going to die. I remember running to the freezer and sticking my head in the freezer because I was so overheated very suddenly, and like, not a good time. King of Camelot says, can I recommend a book? I mean, sure. I'm still so far behind, y'all. I'm catching up as best I can. Robin says, yeah, it's funny to think that for the most of human history, the goal was to put on weight because that meant you had a regular source of food, but now it's the opposite. Bonkers. I think beauty standards are fucked, right? I'm not about to, this is not me defending beauty standards. I'm not about to start defending beauty standards. I think there is a desire among people to define the ideal body, which does not make sense. Like, this is not, I'm trying to not come across as like, I'm so woke and smart and big brain, but like, let me put it this way. I grew up my whole life, throughout the entirety of my education, the thing that was pounded into my brain was people come in all shapes and sizes, right? Like, I don't know if that's a thing that everyone got in every place, but I feel like that's like a thing that they tell kids, right? People come in all shapes and sizes. And then why is that? Why doesn't that extend into beauty standards? What? What? I don't understand. People come in all shapes and sizes, but only certain shapes and sizes are good. Why is there a second half to that phrase? Can we not? And like, it's real. I'm not immune to it either. Oh, Flynn's getting comfy. Hold on. Can we get the Flynn cam before I go off onto another rant? Let's get the Flynn cam, please. There it is. Oh, look at him go. And stick the landing. There it is. Cozy boy. Cozy boy. Oh my goodness. That's a good boy. That's a good boy right there. Well done, Flynn. 10 out of 10. Looking cozy. Enjoy your bed. Little cinnamon roll. Can we get let me see if I can get you a better angle of the roll. No. That's me. We don't want that. Okay, well, apparently not. I don't know how. I can't do that. My brain's not working. So, what was I saying? Something about body types. I am not immune to like beauty standard stuff, right? I, honest to God, like started to note a lot of things about myself when I started doing content and having my face, like staring at my face on screen constantly. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I haven't like tried to work on stuff, right? I also did not always have this body shape. Right before I started doing content, I was like 70 to 75 pounds heavier than I am now. And I recall very, very vividly a girl in like college or something calling me a fucking fat ass. Like, you know, in put those in quotation marks. And that, like, her voice saying that is just like seared into my brain. Now, I have gone through a whole lot of therapy and grown a lot since then. And also, I wasn't a fucking fat ass. No one is, but like, I wasn't particularly big. I was just overweight. I don't know what I would call it. But like, that stuck with me for so long and like made me feel like shit for so long. And there's no way, there's not a single like iota of a reality in which she remembers having said that. She forgot almost immediately. She has no idea who I am. She almost definitely went on with her day and never gave it a second thought. And it plagued me for a decade. So, like, I'm very sympathetic to that. And also, I don't understand hating on people's body shapes. Thinking that people did some dumb shit, like, I should not speak before I actually think through my own takes. I don't want to say something fucking dumb. All right, continuing on, trying to catch up. I'm never going to catch up at this rate. I just keep talking too much. Here is Deaf Amanda's first statement. Since following, I'm sorry it took me so long to get to your message, Amanda. Says, as a deaf person, whenever people wear those masks that isn't clear, it's super difficult for the deaf people to communicate because 90% of you have no idea how to sign language. There are certain people who flat out refuse to write and or pull down their masks so we can just lip read. Masks sucks, that's all I have to say. I understand. I totally understand. And like, I live very, very close to a deaf and hard of hearing university and a deaf-owned, several deaf-owned and operated businesses. And so like, I have personally been on the other side of their struggle with that, where I go to patron one of the businesses, I'm wearing a mask, and I know as I'm going in that they are at a significant disadvantage compared to their usual methods of communication when trying to perform their usual jobs of taking an order, right? So they had a lot of really great ways to like proactively help other people. You know, they had like that like, it wasn't like not like a tablet, but like a mechanical, like reusable tablet thing where you can like write and like, I guess it like writes through the gel and then you can erase it. Kind of like those like children's toys that are like all colorful and whatnot, but for legibility rather than doodling. So they had those. I would also sometimes pull my mask down if I really needed to. There's also a lot of like pseudo sign language that people would do. Me personally, I have learned a little bit of sign language to be able to communicate specific things. Primarily, like, I know that the brewery near me that's deaf owned, I know they're going to ask if I want my tab to be open or closed. And so I've learned open and closed so I can answer that question. Of course, I know thank you. I also am on their wait list for learning ASL, and I cannot wait to actually do that. But yeah, I 100%, I understand that that's a really impactful thing. And it's painful. Also, I should really look into getting the auto subtitling or captioning, closed captioning. I should look into getting that set up on my stream. That should be a thing that I do. I'm gonna make a note for that right now. Let me put it on my phone, actually. Let's see. New reminder. Get captioning set up. Done. Most of the I wish I lived in a place where I could still do stuff at off hours, but everything here closes so early. I miss shopping at 1 a.m. I feel ya. I would not be up at 1 a.m. Trip says, my lettering is really childlike, but I try. I also do a notepad text / write it down if I'm going to be slow. The thing that I usually go for is I have an app. I think I have an app still. It might not be on my new phone. It might not have transferred. I should re-get it before I go back into public. But I had an app for a while that is just like you like type in a thing, like you type what you want to say, and it blows it up to be the biggest text, the biggest size text it can be on the screen, and just does black on white or white on black text. So that way, like, if you're in a bar, if you're in a dark area especially, and even like this is a great example of how like accessibility and building accessibility directly into things and thinking about accessibility helps more people than just those who always need it. For example, a tool to help you communicate with people who can't otherwise hear you is super useful if you're in a dark, loud room and you need to communicate, say, an order to a bartender, or anything where someone's not able to hear you, or if you need to silently be able to communicate with somebody because you're in like a quiet space that you aren't supposed to be making a lot of noise. Like, there are genuine benefits to employing accessible strategies that aren't just, you know, these specific one group of people would be happier with it. I love that people are like, you know, people have like more or less started always putting captions in their videos because it makes it so much easier. Even though I don't have an audio processing condition, I can watch, or if I'm watching a video, I will generally be like reading the subtitles, and it helps with reading comprehension, and it helps with like comprehending what they're saying. It helps on the first try, like internalizing what they said. The better word for hearing impaired is actually hard of hearing. I'm really curious to know what the sort of like preferred terminology. I know this is not the same in the slightest, but I'm like somewhat tuned in to the like deaf and hard of hearing community because of what I said, just proximity. I'm really curious if anybody knows the answer of like what is the correct term for blindness or vision impairment, or vision low vision, low visibility. It's the kind of thing where it's like that's the kind of thing I can look up, and also I don't trust when I look it up, because when I look up things like what's a good way to refer to what's a good way to not have to say LGBTQIA plus every time I want to refer to queer people, and every like official publication is still afraid of the word queer, and so all of them just use some wackadoo thing, or they say like a member of the alphabet mafia. Like, queer's fine, just say queer, it's okay. It's okay. They've taken it back. It is a supportive, inclusive term. It is not demeaning. It's a matter of saying it in good faith, and people know that you're saying it in good faith. And it is a showing, I think, it is a showing of, or at least I feel when I'm saying it, that it's a showing of, I don't want to limit who I'm referring to. We understand that I'm referring to basically anyone that's not a purely straight person. And like, moving forward, catching up. I grew up. Dev 2024. A Generation of Sociopaths is the book I know. Is the book I know it's on Audible. Interesting. Is that about like the people not wanting to mask or whatever? Mo says, my ideal body is one that isn't constantly trying to kill me. That'd be nice. Finakari says, I'm 5'7" and regularly 10 pounds underweight, and people generally think that I am healthy because I fit in the physical beauty standards. I am not healthy. Yeah, I mean, I know people... Oh, hydrate. I can hydrate. I know people who genuinely have trouble with, like, nutrient retention or whatever it's called, where it's like they can't really get enough food in them. and like they're just eternally too thin, like too like they're malnourished basically. And it's a like a physical, it's not like a, oh man, I really wish that I had a few more pounds, I want more, like I want like a thicker ass. It's not like that. It's like I have a hard time having healthy levels of vitamins and nutrients in my bloodstream, and my doctor keeps yelling at me. Clay says, this is a valid point. The same, so replying to Amanda, this is a valid point. The same systemic ableism that fights against masks makes hearing folks feel like they don't need ASL. I truly wish ASL was more commonly taught and offered accessibility for all. It's such a interesting concept, and I agree. It really should just be like taught in schools, just to kids, because kids invented it. If kids could invent ASL, they can learn it. Mo says, I was a legit fat kid, bullied right into a residential eating disorder treatment center by grade 10. I every time that I see ED, I need to remind myself that it's eating disorder in that context. Clay says, feel that in my bones, Dev. Sorry you had that experience. I think that was about the weight stuff. Yeah, I feel you. Speaking of misreading things, let's see. I'm gonna try to catch up really quick. Hi Kev, how's it going? Fanakari says, as a teen, I learned ASL mainly to talk to people across classrooms. That's dope. Trip says, I use closed captions on TV to help focus my brain. Yep. People who can't deal with closed captions, I don't know what to tell you. I get it. I do get it, because they're very distracting for me too, but I've learned that they are much more helpful than they are detracting. Okay, I've got a very funny thing to share with you. And I'm gonna have to pull something up though. So let me see if I can pull this up without, damn it. That's not a good one. I need a screenshot. It's a Baldur's Gate 3 thing. I'm looking for a screenshot of a specific enemy type that I constantly misread their name, and it was just very funny. No, still no. Perhaps? Oh, no, okay, whatever. I'll just say it. I'm currently in my current Baldur's, like my personal Baldur's Gate run, not my No Malone run, but like my honor mode. I am currently at the Balthazar fight, which for those who haven't played Baldur's Gate, it's just a pretty big like mini boss fight that involves a like big wild necromancer dude and his like army of skeleton boys. And one of his like minion units that are these big beefy boys holding these like iron rods, like these big iron rods, and their name is Apostate Destroyer. And every time that I'm double checking that I've got the right tags on my stream right now, every time that I see them, I think it says Prostate Destroyer. And I see that they're holding a giant pole and they're called Prostate Destroyers. And I'm just like, damn, this is a brutal fight. just a big old prostate destroyer. Oh god, it's like if anybody was around for the Astral Campgrounds movie night where we watched Top Secret, and the guy got the giant anal intruder device, but then impaled himself on it because he didn't realize that Germany used a different a different type of electricity in their wall, like a different grade of electricity than back in the States, and he didn't account for that. New D&D bard fight unlocked. Oh man. I mean, a giant pole would destroy the prostate, says Trips. Yeah, it's pretty menacing. Here comes the prostate destroyer. Sodium Sulfide says this is the first time someone has referenced Top Secret. I thought I was alone in having seen that movie. Top Secret is one of my favorite movies of all time. It is dumb as fuck. It is so stupid, and it is hysterical. Like it's just the kind of movie that has so many gags. You will not notice all of them in the first viewing. Like you'll never catch everything. But it's just, there's always something, there's always something to be laughed at. Like there's always something to laugh at in that movie. There's not a scene, there's not a moment where there's not something on screen that is hilarious. And I just love it so much. I can appreciate, like, so for those who are not aware, Top Secret, it's a movie that's in the same, it's by the same people and it's in the same vein as like Airplane, if you've seen Airplane, where it's just a parody of a type of movie. It's a parody essentially of a like World War II Nazi spy thriller, or like, you know, counter spy thriller kind of thing. And it is so funny. Airplane is amazing. Yeah, if you've seen Airplane and you thought Airplane was funny, Top Secret is like 6 times funnier than Airplane. I find the visual gags go off the charts. It is so good. And Val Kilmer is so dreamy as Elvis. Yeah, Val Kilmer is the main character. He's hot and he plays like fake Elvis basically. Kind of has slight Mel Brooks vibes. It has a lot. Yeah, it's very Mel Brooks-ish. Top Secret movie night in the Discord. So we did that. We did do a screening of Top Secret in the Discord. I believe. Let me check real quick. I think I pinned. Yep, I did. Here you go. For your convenience, there is a direct download link. Hopefully I don't get banned. There's a download link to a file that has nothing to do with anything that we've been talking about. It is not a video file. It is not a movie. It is a just a random link to nothing of value in particular. And you can also find it in the pins in my Discord's main channel. My favorite parody of a movie genre will always be Yeti, a homosexual love story. Now that one, that's new to me. I haven't heard of that one. We also watched in movie night, we watched Wizard People Dear Reader, which is a redubbing of the first Harry Potter movie it's told in the style of an audiobook. So it's just one dude narrating over the movie. This dude has never read the books and hasn't really watched the movies and just came up with his own version of the story. And it's absurd. It's just like truly ridiculous. And it was originally released as just the audio, and you were supposed to get the audio, play the audio, and then like put in the movie DVD and play it on mute and listen to the audio while you're watching the movie. But I have a copy of I have a, again, perfectly mundane file sitting around on my computer somewhere that is the original movie and the audio, synced up properly. Clay says, that sounds like the only way I'll watch Harry Potter in 2024. Yes, it is in my mind, it is the canonical Harry Potter film. It starts and ends with Wizard People Dear Reader. Knocker says movie night. We did also watch that before in a movie night, but also that doesn't mean that I can never do another screening in Discord. So possibly not off the table. But yeah, it's hilarious. Like Harry is a drunk. Ron is this like massive hulking beast. Hermione is a horrific, like disgusting monster, and it's really, really good. There's also a couple of scenes where he just completely ignores what's happening in the scene and just tells a completely different story. It's so good. Oh my god. Like Harry specifically is like a wino in this retelling. And Dumbledore, everyone has like a different name. So Harry is still Harry. Ron is Ronnie the Bear. Hermione is oh god. I forget what Hermione's name is. Hagrid is Hagar the Horrible. Snape is a woman, first of all. And Dumbledore is the near-dead Dumbledore. It's always like the near-dead Dumbledore or the barely living Dumbledore, all that kind of stuff. It's very, very good. Really good. I definitely need to see this one way or another. I believe that also might be, yep. Fanakari, I would direct you to the pinned messages in the Pavilion channel in my Discord if you would like to see that one way or another. There may be some way to see that if you check the pinned messages in the Pavilion channel in my Discord. Yeah. Mo has redeemed Dev rolls dice. Is that because I was holding dice? Trip says, just don't drink anything while watching if you don't want to choke laughing. It is beyond hysterical. So the guy that made it is... I'm just going to pull this up. I'm going to pull up this video. We're going to watch a video real quick, like. If you haven't seen the George Washington song, it's the same guy. Like, the guy that did that is the guy who did Wizard People Dear Reader. Brad Neely. Brad Neely... George Washington. Here's his original works.
Washington, 6'8", weighs a fucking ton. Opponents beware, he's coming. Let me lay it on the line, he had two on the vine. I mean 2 sets of testicles, so divine. On a horse made of crystal, he patrolled the land with the mason ring and schnauzer in his perfect hands. Here comes George, in control. Women dug his snuff and his gallant stroll. 8 opponents' brains and invented cocaine. He's coming. Washington, 6'20", fucking killing for fun. Spread, Delaware. He's coming. Sue me if I go too fast, but the sons of his opponents wish that he was their dad. Got a wig for his wig, got a brain for his heart. He'll kick you apart. Ooh, he'll save children, but not the British children. 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 He had a pocket full of horses, fucked the shit out of bears, threw a knife into heaven and could kill with a stare. He made love like an eagle falling out of the sky, killed his sensei in a duel and he never said why. Washington, 12 stories high, made of radiation. The present beware, the future beware. He's coming. Did I mention his 4 nuts? Well, he also had 4 dicks. If you took off his boot, you'd see the dicks growing off his feet. I heard that motherfucker had like 30 goddamn dicks. He once held an opponent's wife's hand in a jar of acid at a party.
Oh my lord. He's something special. For sure. There's the dog. Yeah. There are so many quotes from that live rent-free in my head every single day. Like, He'll save children, but not the British children. It's just a thing that I think sometimes, just like out of nowhere. Or he's got a wig for his wig, got a brain for his heart. He'll kick you apart. Now let's watch Strong Bad. Fuck yes. Mo, I did your roll. I did your roll while we were watching the thing. You got a 45. Do you want me to? Did you not? I'm so sorry. You got 45. I rolled a d20 and it came up with a 45. So, is that okay? Is that acceptable? Or do I need to go repent? I was dancing. Yay! Oh, good. Stolt says that was among the top 10 weird things I've seen on the tube. There's a lot weirder out there, but... Have you seen Ultimate Showdown of Ultimate Destiny? Yeah, classic. Of course. Mr. Rogers in a bloodstained sweater. Yeah, that entire era. Like, have y'all seen Redacted? Or no, Rejected, which was like one of the first viral videos. This has a Wikipedia page for being like an interesting example of how things went viral, like before virality was really a thing. Rejected video. We're not gonna watch it because it's too long, but it's like it's a classic. Dark. So Rejected was it was by Dan Hertzfeld, and it was a short film that was not actually it was always intended to be fiction, but the concept was that it was a collection of rejected commercial proposals for a company, that all the commercials were deeply weird, that involved like these strangely drawn characters doing weird things and like dying in brutal ways and like weird crap. And it was just very esoteric, and it was very emblematic at the time. It was very like so random kind of thing, but it's pretty great. And it spawned a lot of like good memes, like I am a consumer whore, and how? Or my spoon is too big, I am a banana, like all that kind of stuff. Like that's all in the zeitgeist now, right? But what was interesting about this is that it went viral via email attachments. There wasn't a place that people went on the internet to go watch this. It was literally, haha, this is funny, I'm going to forward this email with a .wmv attached to my friends. And then you would receive the email and you would open up the attachment and watch it. And you're like, haha, and you would forward it. And it went viral that way. Like, it cemented its place in internet history via email chains. Pretty cool, methinks. My friends would gather around the computer and watch that. It's wild. Oh yeah, end of the world. Round. My anus is bleeding lives rent free in my head. My anus is bleeding. Like that was used. That I heard, I don't know who it was. That was like in fucking like dubstep songs before before like the bass drops and shit. The way you were talking about this like it was so long ago makes my spine hurt. It was 24 years ago. It is 2024 and Rejected came out in 2000. I saw that on the Wikipedia article. It went viral in 2000. It is 2024 now. I think that counts as a pretty long time ago. Like, Dev, you saying that made my five gray hairs spawn. It's the age of my kid, says Trips. Rob says, side note, the red pepper flakes are still good. It can drink. It can more than drink. It can almost rent a car. Mo says I was already in college. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. Like, I don't feel good about it either. I was just talking earlier about how I went to go work out and I could hear my knees creaking the entire time. So I don't know what to tell you. I'm not much better off. checking for what I missed while I was talking about rejected. Trip says that headline that I shared and stuff keeps happening live lives rent-free in my head since yesterday. You're talking about the fish falling out of the sky one? Fish falls from sky and damages New Jersey couple's Tesla in driveway. Let's get that on the old... on the screen here. Fish falls from sky and damages New Jersey couple's Tesla in driveway. Very good. Very, very good. This is the kind of headline. This is like a stuff keeps happening headline through and through. Like, this is the exact kind of thing that I would include on stuff keeps happening. Mo says, I saw my first Cybertruck in the wild yesterday. Same. Not yesterday, but like very recently, just like a couple weeks ago. Literally right after somebody was talking to me about how they hadn't seen any Cybertrucks around here and how that made them happy. I was driving along and I saw a Cybertruck. And then 2 days later, I saw a Cybertruck. I don't know if it was the same one, but I saw 2 Cybertrucks in 2 days, and I was very upset about that. I do actually have a thing that I wanted to talk about. It's a bit of a bummer. I'm going to warn you up front, but I'm going to avoid dwelling on it for too long. I just want people to be aware that this is a thing. So I'm going to first start by saying, obviously, oh, let me change the music. We haven't done a music poll in a second. Let's do that first. Poll. Music. We've got synth. We've got ambient. We've got jangly. We've got digital. We've got tavern. Vote. Deb, you are killing my anxiety. Well, is that a good thing? Is that a good thing or a bad thing to kill your anxiety? This guy says, I saw a TikTok of someone with a Cybertruck all decked out in Trump decals. That's just I mean, like, just take solace in the fact that, like, literally no one is going to go near that person. That's just, like, a person screaming, like, I'm dangerous. Hello. Lego Lava followed. Hello, hello. Welcome in. Welcome in. F, you forgot silent. I understand. I need sound or I'm going to lose my mind. All right. End poll. We are going with jangly. It has been a second since we've done jangly vibes. Let's do some jangly vibes. Excellent. Lego Lava says, hee hee hi, I love your videos. Well, thank you. First of all, I'm sorry that if I left people hanging. I'm sorry if I left people hanging. It's not that big of a deal. You're fine. You're fine, I promise. I wouldn't have left you hanging if it was a big deal. Thank you, Lego Lava, for saying the kind words, and welcome on in. You've stumbled into the kindest and most welcoming community on the internet, so much so that you can't leave now. And that's a threat. We will support you. And we will include you. And you will feel heard. And you will feel seen. And you have no say in that. All right. All right. We will support you so aggressively. Chip says, I didn't do physics, so, like, seriously, what speed velocity does the 1 pound fish need to fall to damage that and bounce? I don't know. Terminal fish velocity, probably? All right. Going back to the thing. So, unfortunately, vibes are going to dip a smidge. Sorry, but this came across my feed earlier, and I just kind of shook my head. Let me give you some context to start. There's been a lot of discussion recently in the online leftist spaces about Kamala Harris taking over for Joe Biden, and whether or not she's any better, and everyone seems to want to have a hot take about why you should still be mad about Kamala Harris, and like, I'm not going to tell you how to feel about her. I just want you to know about her. I think that people who are like don't vote for her because she's a cop are like deeply unserious people. Like, what you're saying is don't vote for literally any politician, which is, if you abstain from voting and that's your ethos, I'm probably not going to change your mind. I still encourage people to vote. So, with all of that said, I am not trying to, this is not me trying to like knock her out of the race. This is not me trying to say this is a terrible, terrible thing and therefore we shouldn't bother and we should give up and just let Trump take over and everything be terrible. Because obviously, even though she is aligned with Trump on many like foreign policy things, even, she's not aligned with Trump on a lot of domestic and still other foreign policy stuff. There's a very big difference between a candidate who wants to erase trans people and do the biggest deportation in the history of the country and a candidate who's not doing that. So with all of that said, with all of that understood, I still want to draw attention to the rhetoric that she is still putting out. This is a statement that she put out in the capacity of the vice presidency after Netanyahu spoke at Congress yesterday. There was a bunch of protests. There was some vandalism that happened. The protests were organized largely by Jewish communities. There were rabbis there. They burned an American flag, presumably. I haven't actually verified that. But that's also allowed, right? That is allowed. But here is the statement she put out. She is a Zionist. That's not new. We knew she was a Zionist. Her husband is a very loud Zionist. She has a lot of support from like the Zionist library and whatnot. Like, she is a Zionist. We understand that. But she says yesterday at Union Station in Washington, D.C., we saw despicable acts by unpatriotic protesters, which is an absurd, that right there is an absurd statement, and dangerous hate-fueled rhetoric. I condemn any individuals associating with the brutal terrorist organization Hamas, which has vowed to annihilate the state of Israel and kill Jews. Pro-Hamas graffiti and rhetoric is abhorrent, and we must not tolerate it in our nation. I condemn the burning of the American flag. That flag is a symbol of our highest ideals as a nation and represents the promise of America. It should never be desecrated in that way. I support the right to peacefully protest, but let's be clear. Anti-Semitism and hate and violence of any kind have no place in our nation. What this is doing is completely erasing the voices of the Jewish people who organized and participated in those protests. It completely erases and calls unpatriotic the people who banded together with their countrymen to make a statement to try to be heard. And burning the American flag, it's a piece of fabric. I don't give a fuck what it symbolizes, because it doesn't symbolize the same thing to everyone. And requiring everyone to providing a mandate that the flag symbolizes a specific thing is insanity. So like, hello, no, you don't get to tell people that they're unpatriotic for protesting. You don't get to tell people how they need to see the flag. And you don't get to tell people that because they protested, that they are aligning with terrorists. That is absurd. That is abhorrent. And it is, honestly, I don't know why, but still disappointing that she would make a statement this harshly, this ignorant. Like, absolutely ignorant. Especially right after getting so much support from like the exact contingent of people who this is currently condemning. So like, we are already holding our noses for you, Kamala Harris. We are already holding our noses. You don't need to stink up the place further. So that's the thing I wanted to talk about. It's disappointing. This is why I say things like, Kamala's not my girl. I am not a Democrat. She's not my girl. But when I go into the voting booth and there's going to be two checkboxes, one says Kamala Harris and one says Donald Trump, checking one of those two boxes does not commit my morals into any sort of like divine ledger that means that all of my morals have been thrown by the wayside. If I vote for Kamala Harris, that is not an endorsement of every single thing she stands for. It is a necessary requirement to prevent the people in my life from being hurt that much more significantly by a Trump administration. That's all it is. Like, that's all it is. And I 100% understand and encourage the protest vote, right? Holding your vote and making it loudly clear that your vote is winnable under certain conditions. Even if you don't mean it, even if you will ultimately vote for them, you need to put the fire under them, right? It is perfectly reasonable to say, I'm not going to vote for them unless they commit to these things. I understand. I get it. That is why we got Joe out of the race. And also, to make that be an impossible thing, to set up a like, I won't vote unless the first thing she does in office is dismantle the state. You know, like, that's not going to happen. It's just not. And unless you are going to strike the match that starts the revolution, unless you are willing to die for your cause, all you're doing if you're abstaining from voting is either, one, participating in an exercise of incredible privilege, or two, just allowing things to get worse, again, because of privilege. I'm seeing a lot of the takes of like, I'm not going to vote for Harris unless blah, seem to be coming from like white liberals in blue states, which is not the contingent of people that I give a shit about what they have to say about really anything, me included. Mr. Pardo64, welcome in. Hello, hello. How's it going? Clay says very tone deaf, but we didn't expect much different. Yeah. It's not reading the room. It's not very coconut tree of her. It's not very brat girl summer of her to just lump everybody in as anti-Semites and terrorists. Absurd. Clay says Harris is not good, but Harris is not Trump. And unfortunately, in America's two-party system we're stuck in, any vote that isn't for her is essentially a vote for Trump. Even folks that don't vote. Until we can dismantle the two-party system, it won't happen in time for the election. Choosing not to vote or voting third party does not work to avoid Trump or whatever the worst candidate is at the time. I think this is a, like, yes. And the reality of it is that the Electoral College is so heavily skewed toward the Republican Party. Democrats have to win the popular vote by, like, I want to say, like, 4 percentage points, like a significant margin of error to actually win. And we've seen that. Like, in the lifetime of most of the people watching this stream, we've not had a president that won the popular vote for, like, the majority of your lifetime. And those presidents were all Republicans. And so, like, yes, the annoying thing is if you want to be able to catch your fucking breath for a second, if you want to not have to be fighting against an authoritarian in office who is using his executive powers to just sow chaos. Like, Harris isn't going to be actively sowing chaos as the president. She's going to continue American imperialism. She's going to continue allowing Israel to do their shit. She's going to continue keeping America's interests, you know, in the military and whatnot. She's not going to do anything super revolutionary. And also, she might make life a little bit more comfortable for the people in your life who are currently deeply struggling with mental health care access, with abortion access, with trans rights. Those things will at least will hopefully federally not regress. They may regress state by state. They may regress in municipalities. but it is deeply unlikely that a Harris administration would pass or sign a bill that adds restrictions to trans people. That is deeply unlikely. And it is far more likely under Harris than Trump that abortion access is in some way reinstated. It is for sure not happening under Trump, and very likely getting worse under Trump. Under Harris, it might come back. Notice that, like, what I'm saying is the same thing I always say, which is the best possible president can do very little good. The worst possible president can do a lot of damage. So what we're trying to do is just prevent a lot of extra damage to the immediate people surrounding us who need some sense of stability, no matter how bad it might suck to feel like you're voting for someone who's going to continue genocide and continue signing off on the horrific things that the US does everywhere. You are tacitly endorsing that by not voting and continuing to exist in this country and pay taxes. Any form of taxes. Sales tax, income tax, anything. If your money, if your labor, if your work is going towards enriching the country of which you exist in, which is, yes, that's what happens, you are on the hook for what this country does. And your options are try to play the long game or try to play the short game by sparking revolution. And I have yet to meet somebody who's actually doing the short game. I have met, or who actually is interested in doing the short game, besides just saying it and saying it in comments a lot. There's a lot of really good people, a lot of very, very good, very driven people who are working very hard at the long game. And the people who completely ignore that work undermine the lifetime effort that it takes from activists, from community organizers, and from leaders to make grassroots movements happen and impact the existing empire that we have. So you can go into a TikTok comment section and say, burn it all down, like, I'm not paying taxes, like, who's not paying taxes with me this year? I just saw, who's feeling French. I get that a lot in my comments, and I understand the sentiment, and I agree with it in a lot of ways. And also, the thing that I want the most in this life is to reduce immediate suffering and bring people some joy. I don't think that the best way for me to do that is to put myself in a position where I'm likely to be killed or imprisoned and have that possibility taken from me. But I can instead try to, as best I can, continuously reach people and improve their lives however I am able to do so. So, there's that. I'm gonna catch up on chat now. My goodness, I just said a lot of words. Mo says people with incredible privilege. Yep. King of Camelot says, on a completely different note, have you seen the update plan for Helldivers 2 on the 6th? I have not ever played Helldivers, so I don't really know anything about it. I just know that it's like funny and people like it a lot. That's kind of all I know about Helldivers. Mo says, do any of you have guest rooms and like cats? Because I need to get the fuck out of Texas before long. I maintain that Texas is more likely to flip blue than Florida in even possibly the next election. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I don't think it's impossible. It is well understood and well documented that Texas is a blue state that doesn't vote. Like, that's the meme, but it's also true. There are more eligible voting Dems, I think, than Republicans in Texas. They just don't vote because they think it's a waste of time. Because they think it's just going to be a Republican victory anyway. Ollie says, here's a question. If by a miracle everything goes blue, is it possible to codify abortion access now? Or did the Supreme Court ruin that chance? Because I understand the Dems most likely won't do it, but is it possible? It is possible. The only thing that the Supreme Court did was overturn the existing decision that ensured it. And because there's no law on the books that ensures it federally, that's why we're in the chaos that we are right now. So I don't think that... I dropped the die. I don't think that Democrats are going to codify abortion, even if they take all 3 chambers. I don't think they're going to do it. They might, but they also might purposefully wait until like the midterms to either pass it and be like, look, we did the thing, vote for us again. Or they're going to wait for the midterms, not pass it, and be like, we just need a few more seats. We just need these particular things, and then we'll do it. Because that's been their approach this whole time. Amanda says, I do have a problem with people that can't seem to think for themselves towards politics and be open to see why other people feel the way that they've for who they voted for. We need to stop pressuring people to do certain things like vote for Harris or vote Trump. Like, no, let me have my thoughts first. I mean, I agree that we should not, like, I do not think that there has ever existed a person who was like aggressively told who to vote for, and they were like, well, I guess I'm going to do that. Thank you. This helps. I don't think that happens. So like, yeah, my approach generally to the entirety of the who you're going to vote for, who do we vote for, blah, 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 is to not answer that question, to say you should vote, to explain what that means, and explain why voting is, as I say whenever this comes up, voting is the minimum viable civic engagement. It is the absolute least that you can do. It is quite literally checking a box, and the concept of your vote, while that holds power to the parties, to the political parties that are fighting for it, the concept of your vote does hold power. The actual action of voting is checking a box. It is not righteous. It is not improving lives. It is not doing anything but filling in a piece of paper that will then be counted, that will then ultimately make a decision through a super busted system. Go vote, and then go get involved in your local community. That is usually what I'm saying. I don't believe we should have a president, and I think a lot of people probably would generally agree. If like I sat down and explained that position more or less of like, I don't think that a presidency is a healthy way to go about governing. I don't think that that having these elections is healthy at all. I don't think that our current congressional system makes any sense, and obviously no one likes the two-party system. And like, whenever I read about another country who has an election and no single party got enough to be a majority, and so instead they had to form a coalition and form a government, I'm like, wouldn't that be fucking nice? Like, what if we could vote for candidates who could be in a party that actually represents our values, and even if that's not going to be the majority that immediately takes over and fixes everything, they can at least say, hey, Dems, us, progressive party, we will work with you to form a government if you add these things to your platform. But we just don't have that. It's the two-party system in this country just eliminates any notion of pushing outwards. Like Olava says, we need a peaceful revolution war. Death isn't the answer. We need to stop killing. Violence is a very broad term. And while there's a lot of people who are very angry, very justifiably angry, and I think it's very understandable that people are reaching for imagining violent solutions, right? People talk about bringing out the guillotines. Violence does not necessarily have to mean morbid violence. Is that the right word? Corporeal violence? Corporal violence? Violence against bodies, right? Because economic violence is a thing. Economic violence, which is the aggressive term for striking, is a very effective strategy. It is it is one step away. It is the last thing to do before you're like, well, that didn't work. Now we move on to the actual aggression. But economic violence followed by destruction of property to make a statement. And if that still doesn't fucking work, I'm not saying the third part. I do not think that we are anywhere near ready to organize a general strike. I see this a lot. I see a lot of people, I get a lot of comments that say things like, general strike on this date, everyone strike on this date. And it's like, you're not gonna cause a general strike to happen by commenting on TikTok. It's just not gonna happen. That is so far removed. And again, it comes back to the like insulting people who actually do this for their like life's work of trying to organize people. I think the general strike is possible in the US. I don't think it's possible now. We need to put in the footwork to get to the point that it is possible. And in the meantime, the thing to be doing is strengthening unions and having those discussions with people to help form unions, such that we can have those unions on the side of the workers who can then, like, our professional networks of support to allow massive swaths of the industries to protest. If we got the like auto workers and postal workers and like the Teamsters, and we got all like just a handful of big unions to go on full strike with demands of like no more billionaires, basically, that would be wild. Like, that would be so impactful. America would fall to its knees in a day if even if just freight workers stopped. Imagine the biggest economy in the world being unable to move freight until the demands of the workers were met. America would crumble. They would call in the National Guard. It would be insane. All right, moving on. Honeybee says, I miss my wife. Honeybee, I miss your wife too. I don't know what the context is, and I hope that wasn't insulting. Inky says, Florida has a chance to flip blue in that all seats are up besides governor, if I remember correctly. I think, isn't DeSantis term limited now anyway? Austin says, with the new Supreme Court ruling and Biden not running again, who else wants Biden to hit that student loan button? Thonium Sulfide says, last time Dems had both chambers and the presidency, they squandered it. Yeah, Obama was like super trying to get his healthcare stuff through, I think, and just completely didn't do abortion, despite that being healthcare. We've got a couple of redeems here. I'm going to do those, and I'm going to try to catch up with chat afterwards. I've been behind this whole time. I apologize for not being able to catch up. That was the hydrate. That was for Water Goddess. And Coffee Mom redeemed Give Flynn a Treat. So let's do that. Oh, Sleeping Beauty awakes. Oh. We get the camera closer. Oh, big yawn. There's the yawn. Sitting up, he's excited. He knows what's happening. He knows what's about to happen. Oh my god. Oh, big stretch. Oh, big stretch. Coming on over. Big stretch. Oh, flappies. Okay. Okay. Yeah, you want a treat? I guess, please. Please, I want a treat. He is the goodest of boys, and I love him so very much. Just so very much. Oh my goodness. Oh, look at him. He's like, what's going on? Are you looking up at the camera? Yeah. Hey, who's your good boy? Who's your good boy? love him. I love him so much. Now, of course, he has to lick the ground. Oh yeah, look at my socks. My socks are cows today. The socks are cows today, so that's pretty good. Amazing. Oh, good spot, buddy. Good spot. Robin says my cat is watching the stream with us. Your cat's like, the enemy has been detected. Oh, there's the die. Hi. All right, let's see if I can catch up on chat real quick, like. And then I have a few closing announcements. I should have said this earlier. I did post this in Discord, but this is going to be a bit of a short stream, so I'm going to be ending in a little over 15 minutes because I have a lot to do, and I'll get to that in a second. Well, let's catch up on chat first. I want ranked choice voting so hard. That is the only way we're going to get third parties, really. People around me and in real life do this, and it induces anxiety, in my opinion. But if there's an open discussion, I'm in without pressuring to. If there's an open discussion, then I'm in without pressuring to vote. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, like yelling at people to do any given thing doesn't work. I strongly believe that voting matters for for influencing the baseline of where we're working from. And it would be so much easier to be impactful in trying to materially improve the lives of the people that we care about if we weren't spending all of our energy pushing back against an administration that is actively harming, well, both administrations will be harming people, but are actively adding new ways to harm the people that we're trying to protect. People that don't vote are usually the ones that complain the most about the results. Well, they complain about the system too. Like, I understand not believing in the system. I understand being disillusioned. I totally get it. What gets under my skin is when people make voting out to be this like massive deal, and it's like, they're like, just stay home, save the time. It's like, dog, it's like 10 minutes once every 4 years to vote for the president. Like, you should vote in every election you can, but most people just vote for the president. 10 minutes every 4 years is not a big deal. You can do it. It's gonna be fine. Stold says, I never understood that person won, but in the wrong states. Why not treat the USA as a whole? It is... It's really bad. The United States Electoral College system is truly fucking dumb. It's so bad. We have a system that is essentially every state has a point amount associated with it, and if you win the popular vote in a given state, you win those points. All of them. It doesn't matter how many people in that state voted for one candidate or another. Whoever got 50.01% of the vote in that state gets all of that state's points. In almost every case. There's like 2 exceptions. Because of that, and because these state point totals are horrendously they're horrendously non-representative of the populations. You have to win specific conglomerates of states to have a chance at winning, because there are certain states that are understood to be always going to one side, which means that any progressive person who lives in
subscriptions, thank you,
a red state, like a solidly red state, their vote almost definitely just completely gets nullified. And so that's why a lot of people in America especially are disillusioned with the voting system, because quite literally their vote is not doing anything. Because they voted for a given candidate and the other candidate got slightly more votes, or in a lot of cases, many more. But even still, even if it was a 75-25, it is now a 100% for a single candidate. So that 25% of people are just completely eliminated from having their voices
subscriptions.
heard, which
Thank you for that.
sucks. Kev with a gifted sub. Jasmine with a gifted sub. Yo, thank you. And congrats on who got those gifts. But that's why. Yeah, it's really fucked. I am skimming as fast as I can to try to catch up, and I apologize if people were saying things that I'm not quite getting to. We Go Boom Gaming says, first of all, hello, welcome in. Glad that you are here.
Someone gifted subscriptions. Thank you for that.
Good to have you. Good to have you.
Someone gifted subscriptions. Thank you for that.
What is going on with the gifted subs? Hype Train has started. Thank you all so very much. Mo with a gifted sub. A Hype Train started. Mo got an 11. Kev with another gifted sub and rolled a 27. Congratulations. That's a big one for you. Rolled a 27 on a D20. Congratulations. But we Go Boom Gaming says you can literally do it by mail. Yeah, like I now have. I mean, in some states you can. In my state has mail-in voting now, and I have set up permanent mail-in voting. So they literally they send me an email. They're like, hey, you're about to get your ballot. And I'm like, cool. And then it arrives in the mail. I fill it out, drop it in a mailbox while I'm walking the dog. It's so not a big deal. Robin says, my cat is at the stage of life where I wake up in the morning and I have to say, is there poop on you? No? Okay, we can cuddle. Robin says, voting laws in the US are fucked because they were created mostly to benefit slave owners. That is true. Like most things in America, the origins is racism. The Electoral College was put in place because the smaller states that relied on slave labor I say smaller. The less populous states that were relying on slave labor were like throwing a shit fit about being like outvoted by, the population. And so they were like, well, we need a mechanism in place where we are still able to influence the national politics at a federal level, which is pretty fucking wild. Can you talk about something less bummery before you sign off? Good vibes for the next few weeks. I'm sorry that I'm still kind of bummering right now, but I will be talking about something much less bummering here very soon. I promise we'll end on a very, very positive note. Okay. 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 Before I go, I'm not making an announcement right now, but I want to say a few things because I'm about to be not streaming for 2 weeks, give or take. I need to check my calendar. I might be able to stream in a couple. Doesn't matter. Don't expect to stream for 2 weeks because I'm going to be at GenCon. But before I go, I have some things to say. I am working very hard. Part of the reason why I'm ending this stream early is because I need some more time with just all the things I'm about to do. I'm working very, very hard to be ready tomorrow to make a very big announcement. And I've talked about this for a little bit now, but I just want to say one more time. I am working on a new project, a very, very large scale project that is in the tabletop world building space and is going to be my new primary focus. So alongside Stuff Keeps Happening is going to be this new project. I'm trying to establish sort of my things, the things that I do. And what I am saying, by Water Goddess, what I am doing is Stuff Keeps Happening and this new project. I don't mean to imply that everything else that I, kind of have going on is going to disappear and is not important to me. Of course, they are important to me. But as I have been sort of settling into this being what I do, to like this being my job, I am realizing that I need to really focus on bringing together a shape of like what the work is that I do. And so, with that said, I am hoping that tomorrow I will have the absolute joy of announcing this new project to all's y'alls. And I want to be very clear that this is going to be a long-term thing. That is going to be a source of a whole bunch of content. I'm going to be using this new project as a source of creating content because, and this will make more sense when I actually announce it, it's not done. It's nowhere near done. The thing that I am doing is not ready. I am not releasing anything tomorrow. I've reached a point where I'm able to talk about it publicly, and I am going to bring all of you in on the work that I am doing and start weaving it into my content as I'm doing it. Which means that you'll see on my streams, I'll be doing some new stuff on my streams. I'll be posting some new stuff on my YouTube. I'll be posting some new stuff on my TikTok. A lot of that's going to give you an inside look into the work that I am doing on this project. I am so excited, and I can't. It's taking everything in my power to not just say what it is, but soon enough. I will say though, if you want to learn more now, or if you want to get ahead of supporting me in this project, a big part of this project and a big part of the support that I am looking for is via my Patreon. So the announcement of this project has already been posted on Patreon. I've asked people who have my Patreon, who are on my Patreon, to keep it quiet. Please do not ask patrons to tell you what it is. Please respect that barrier, if you will. But patrons will have some insider info, some early access stuff, a bit of new content that's going to be patrons only around this project. So if you want to be the first to learn, you can go do that. With all that said, the other thing. There's another thing. Yeah. On top of that project, merch drop. I am working also on a merch drop. It may or may not include merch for this new project. I'm working on it. But there's going to be a merch drop. I was hoping to include it in my like big announcement stuff tomorrow, but it might be on Monday. I'm not sure. But within a few days, we're going to have a big merch drop on shop.endeavorance.camp. There's going to be a bunch of new items, new designs. I'm now at 5, I think, new designs that are going to drop, which is wild. So that's another really, really great way to support me, to support the channel, to support the community, and to help me be able to keep doing what I'm doing. So looking forward to announcing this new project. And then I'm gonna be off to GenCon, where I'll be doing a whole lot of networking and talking with folks and doing a few things that I can't quite speak about yet. And when I get back, it's gonna be the best of vibes. It's gonna be so very good. Christoph Dan says, hello, what did I miss? Nothing at all. Nothing whatsoever. You missed this. This is all that's happened. Look at that butt. Do we see this butt? Can we get some objectification of the dog in chat, please? It's a good butt. It's a great butt. Booty rocking. It's a butt. Let me tell you, that is one butt. Did you just call our rotisserie chicken boy nothing? Rotisserie chicken boy. Oh my god. I know we aren't supposed to repay ourselves, but Coffee Mom's birthday is coming, so Flynn needs extra goodies for it. Oh. I would give him more treats, but I'm trying to make sure that trying to watch his intake, you know. but he will get ample love and ample treats. Clay, I missed your sub. Thank you so much. Sub with Prime, 2 months. Thank you so very much. Here's that hydrate in case I missed that. Give him extra pets and I will be happy as a clam. Of course. Of course. I will give him extra pets. Are you kidding? Do you make jokes? Of course I'll give him extra pets, just for you. Kev has redeemed Deb rolls dice. You're gonna get the chicken. I'm gonna roll the chicken for you. But I'm gonna multiply the chicken by this D6 that has a crowbar in it. So here's the D6 with a crowbar. Here's the D20 with a chicken, right? Okay. You can see chicken. Whatever. Here we go. There's a 15 times 3. Should be a 45. I don't know what you're talking about. There was nothing in that dice. Where's your green nail polish? I haven't had it for a while, actually. I'm overdue for nail polish. Maybe I should do that this weekend, actually. It's a good idea, so I can have my nails did for GenCon. That could be good. I tend to go for gel when I do get my nails done. I say tend to. I've done it twice ever. But I like the gel thing because I don't have to worry about smudging it when I am done. So because of that, and because gel kind of like fucks up your nails, after I take it off, I have to wait a while to let it all restore. But yeah, might do that. That's a good idea. I'm gonna get going so I can get a little bit more work done on the big announcement for tomorrow. So this is a dance for you. This is the last thing I'm gonna do before going off stream for 2 weeks. So I'll be back in a couple of weeks. I hope you really enjoy what I'm currently doing. I don't know what to call it because it's not really dancing. It's more like I'm just being a metronome, I think. This is just me being a metronome. So that's good. Cool. All right. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. If you want to support me, here are some things. Check out Many Worlds Tavern. They've got coffee, they've got tea. You can use coupon code DEV10 and get 10% off of your purchase to caffeinate yourself properly. Today I was drinking their Astral Bloom tea, which is absolutely amazing, and I'm gonna be buying it in fucking bulk. But yeah, definitely go check them out. They rule. I can't wait to go say hi to them again at GenCon. There's my Patreon link if you would like to subscribe to my Patreon, be in on the ground floor of this new project, get the early announcement for it and all that good stuff. The merch drop is going to be at my merch store, Dodoy, and so here's a link to that. If you want to bookmark it, make it your home page, so every time that you open up your web browser, you're reminded of the incredible stuff that I've got on offer on my shop. If you've missed a stream, I'm going to be gone for a couple of weeks, so if you want to go back and watch a stream, pretend, cosplay like we're actually doing the stream, you can always check out my YouTube channel for VODs. I've got a dedicated VODs channel on YouTube, youtube.com/Endeavorance, and it has all of the VODs from my streams going back quite a ways, and they always go up right after the stream. So there's that. Lastly, be sure that you are in my Discord, because that is where you can be in my Discord. Isn't that amazing? If you're in my Discord, then you are truly in my Discord, which is wild. So that's really good. That's really powerful. Okay. That's enough of that. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. It has been a blast. This has been a very, very fun stream, and you all have been amazing. You kept me from being able to catch up with chat, and it was quite a good time. So Static Knight just followed. Welcome, Static Knight. Just in time for me to say goodbye. But welcome. Good to have you. I'll see you in a couple weeks when I'm back from my trip. But yeah, I will try my best to have fun, to be safe, and to capture lots of memories to share with all y'alls. And hopefully I'll be talking to you tomorrow with a pretty big announcement. If I do end up making the announcement, I believe I'm going to be going on stream on TikTok for a little bit afterwards to like yell and scream about the project and draw attention to it. So you might see me one more time before I go. Cool. All right. Bye. Take care. Farewell. All right. Goodbye.